Hey gang, what's up? This is Tony McBride, also known as Tony the Screenwriter, coming back at you. I'm not going to tell you the date. This is going to be my weekly webcast that I'm trying to do with YouTube. And I wanted to reach out to you guys because, as I told you last time, I'm getting back into social media and I want to kind of be there for you. Uh, I want to be there for you as a screenwriter and kind of give you words of motivation. And every Monday through Friday, I give you about 3 to 5 minutes of words of motivation for you guys to start your mornings off with. And so around 8:30, 9 o'clock, you can look for me on all social media platforms: TikTok, Substack, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Tony the Screenwriter coming at you with words of motivation to start your day. However, I've been on this thing for good 2 years. I actually think I did my first webcast around November, December of 2024, and it was on and off for 2025, and I decided to get back into it 2026. And currently, I do a weekly Substack newsletter, Tony the Screenwriter, and LinkedIn and Substack, and that comes to you every Monday morning. And then I'm going to try to do one of these and maybe release these once a week whenever I can. And I want these to be a little bit longer. I mean, not quite 3 to 5 minutes. I want these to be about 15 to 30 minutes, 30 minutes long. And before I get started with with the series and bring you along, hopefully you guys are following me, and I'll try to upload some old videos of where I've been in Hollywood. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Who is Tony the Screenwriter? Tony the Screenwriter. Well, I am a features and television writer. I am based in Hollywood, California, well, actually Los Angeles, and I've been screenwriting for 10 years. I've completed my first script called The Capitol, March 2016. So 2026 is my 10-year anniversary as a screenwriter, and I love it. Uh, my first script was Capital. It's about two guys who started a financial services firm. I did it when I was living in North Hollywood. I started in 2015, about December. I didn't finish it until 2016, March. And that was my first script. And I've been taking screenwriting courses in Hollywood ever since. I studied screenwriting at UCLA Extension. I went through the entertainment studies program, not the writers program, but I went through the entertainment studies program because at first I wanted to get a job. And then I stumbled on something called story analysis. I took it with a man named Peter Russell. Bless his soul, but he died actually sometime in 2021 or something like that. And it was just around the time when I was doing a consult with the guy. But he told me story analysis. We studied movies such as Saving Private Ryan, Finding Nemo. We did, let me see, did Poet Society, Toy Story, Breaking Bad. And it was that class that I took about 2013. It was in 2013 that it really inspired me to really want to write and create movies. Not just act in movies, but write in movies. Because it taught me how to analyze movies, it told me what to look for in movies, it taught me why movies were so good and why we pay all of our money to see it over and over again and why it won Oscars. And it really ignited and fueled my love for movies. That was in 2013. Okay, I came to California, Hollywood, California in 2012. I served 6 years in the military as an intelligence officer, and I came to California in 2012. I studied acting for 4 years. So from 2012 to 2016, I actually studied acting for film. I studied acting at places such as New York Film Academy, Strasberg, Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, Ivana Chubbuck, TBI, UCLA again, and a bunch of places. And I studied acting for film for a good 4 years, so I do have a breadth of knowledge of acting for film. In 2013, I started the UCLA Entertainment Studies program, where I was learning all aspects of entertainment. So I learned writing, directing, acting, producing, pre-production, post-production, sales, and marketing of entertainment. And while there doing the entertainment study certificate, like I said, stumbled on story analysis. And then from there, once acting money had ran out in 2016, I decided to switch to screenwriting. And and then I started taking more courses. And I took another course at UCLA Extension again. It was advanced feature film writing. And they made you submit a script, and it was taught by a man named Tom Lazarus. And he wrote a Tom Hanks movie. It was a witchcraft movie. I forgot the name of it. And he also wrote a book on screenwriting as well. And I don't know where he is, but it was good. And he also taught me how to analyze writing as well. And then from there, about 2017, I was admitted into the Writers Guild West Veterans Program. And there I worked. It was a 1 year program, and it was where I worked with Writers Guild America West writers, working writers, and we presented our script and our pitch ideas for our script, and they gave us classes on feature film writing and television writing, and we gave them pages, which are pages of our script, so they can read the pages and give us notes on them. And it lasted for a year, and it culminated with us pitching in front of studios. I pitched, but I didn't get a call back. And that was that. That was in 2017. And then from there, I was just writing more and more scripts until about 2021, where I was admitted into the Veterans in Media and Entertainment Warner Brothers cohort, their fellowship. And there we were more so making content, film content. So we created an idea. They had me on as a screenwriter, and we filmed the idea, and it was all superhero based stuff with voiceover, which was a great opportunity for me to work with other veterans and get to know the film industry. And then the last cohort that I was in was last year was the Indiewood Cinematography for Actors cohort, and it was a screenwriting cohort. My fourth script, Whispers in the Woods, got me in, and it was about 2 or 3 months or so, and we were just taking screenwriting classes and hearing speakers speak. It was a great opportunity to meet new people, and I really loved it. But between then, from 2016 all the way up to now, 2026, I have about 16 scripts, 16 feature scripts, and 5 pilots. Most of my features, I'd say over half of them, have been selected to some kind of festival contest. And my most recent script was The Classifieds, which is a television script. My most recent feature was Athel, which is a sci-fi horror. My scripts have been placed in contests and festivals from around the world, Berlin, Paris, you name it. And I'm continuing to write more and more features. Right now, I'm working on a hospital series, and I want to get that finished by the end of this month if I can, so I can start on new things. Um, and like I said, I have 16 features, and I have 5 television pilots. So I'm good at both. My television pilot, Maggie, made finalist at the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Contest for pilots. It also plays quarterfinalists and semifinalists in several other contests like Los Angeles International Screenplay Contest and the Palm Springs Screenplay Contest. My script Starbright got me quarterfinalists at Black Boy Writes, and my script The Closers got me to a semifinals interview for the Disney program. Okay, and so I have 16 scripts, 5 pilots. I write about one new script every year, and I write one script every year. Last year I wrote about 5 scripts, and one of which was Segregation, which is a horror. I'm also a horror writer, so I know you guys are talking about horror because everybody in the industry is talking about horror. And so I decided to write my very first horror script in 2024 called Abolition. It's a slave horror. It's about slavery and horror. And I did a follow up to that one, which was Segregation, which is a civil rights horror film. And coming up next in the series is probably going to be a World War II or World War One horror, maybe a Vietnam. I don't know. So that's where I am right now. So I consider myself a bit of a horror writer, but I do write across all genres: sci-fi, adventure, war epics, uh, and action movie. I did my very first action movie, Battle Buddies, last year. I also did a rom-com. Yep, it's another stupid rom-com movie last year. So I'm a features writer and a television writer. Okay. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I do have a bachelor's in marketing, which is completely worthless. I joined the military, the United States Army, during the time of war. During joined the Army in 2006. I got out of the Army in 2012. I joined the Army as an enlisted, and then I went OCS to get my commission. All right, and that's about me. And before I went into the Army around 2004, that's when I first started. That's about 2004 was when I got my first break in entertainment. I was a background actor for National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. It was in Philadelphia, and it was my very first exposure. I was unemployed again, and I was on the way to the library because when I was unemployed, I would always go to the library every morning. And one day when I was coming back from the library, I saw a sign that said background actors needed for a movie. And I was so energized by the flyer that I just snatched the flyer. I ran all the way across town. I mean, I literally walked across town to the casting office that was casting, said, sign me up. And they said, great, you're signed, you're hired. And they told me to be at this be at the depot around, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And it was like three tour buses, and it was a lot of us. They piled us onto the tour bus and took us onto the set. It was like right outside of Independence Mall, and they were filming the shot, and I saw Nicolas Cage, and I was like about 10 steps away from the guy, and we couldn't ask for autographs or anything then. That was my first break into Hollywood, and then in Philly, I was doing a show a lot called Hack. It was with David Morse. He was in Hurt Locker. He was in The Rock. He's a known actor. He's one of those I guess B-list actors. You don't know his name, but I did a lot of stuff on his show, and he was with Andre Braugher. I don't know if you guys remember Andre Braugher. He passed a few years ago, but he was a Juilliard trained actor. He was African American. He actually signed my sides because when you're on set, you get a bunch of sides, which is like the script. He actually signed it and everything for me, and he was a very gracious and generous man. I was very proud to meet Andre Braugher. And then from then on, I did Annapolis and Philly, and let me see what else. I don't remember what else. I think that was it. And I think I did I hung out with a few student films from the Art Institute. So I did bunch of stuff when I was in Philadelphia. I also studied acting in Philly a little bit. I studied a little bit of acting at Freedom Theater, and I went to a few acting classes at the casting directors, Perry Casting, Kathy Wickline, Mike Lemon, and that was it. And that was I actually signed with an agent, Greer Lang. She was crazy enough to sign me in Philly. So and then in 2006, I had left Philly and joined the Army and served in the Army across the world for 6 years. Didn't deploy. And then when I got out of the Army, I was in the Panhandle of Texas, and I had a big decision to make. Am I going to come back to Philly? And at the time, I didn't really want to come back to Philly and deal with the family because there was really nothing in Philadelphia for me. And it became New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. And then Miami got axed out, and then it was New York or Los Angeles. And since I was in the Panhandle, it was better for me to just come over to Los Angeles to study acting. So Los Angeles it was, and it just seemed cheaper than New York. So Los Angeles it was, and I'm happy to be here. So I moved in 2012. I came to Los Angeles. Exactly, I got to Los Angeles exactly July 1st, 2012. And I lived in a place in Canoga Park on Independence Avenue. And I would say the weekend after I came, I signed up for an acting class. It was with Mark Teschner at TVI. And Mark Teschner was a great teacher. I think he's still teaching there. He does a great soap opera class. It was a 1 day intensive. And I actually got a chance to get up and do it. And it was great. You know what? Let me backtrack. You know what? My first actual break in entertainment could have been The Apprentice, Donald Trump's show. He did a show called The Apprentice back in the day, and they were back in about 2000. I forgot when, like 2001 or something like that. 2001, 2002. The first season, they were doing auditions all over the country, and they did one in Philly at the Lowe's Hotel, and they invited us. They invited a bunch of people in for roundtable discussions, and I was at one of the roundtables, and I made it past the first round. So we had to answer a bunch of questions. I guess because I had sales experience, but so they did an interview. They called me up and said, "Look, Tony, you made it past the roundtable. Congrats!" So they did an interview, a phone interview. I did the phone interview. They said, "Great, you made it on. You made it to the next round. We're going to have somebody call you up and they're going to ask you a question, and you're going to have to answer the question on the spot. If you answer it correctly, you get to move on to the first. You get to move on to the finalist round." I'm like, "Cool." So they called me up about a week later and they said, "Tony, you're at a beach. Sell me a bucket of sand." And I couldn't do it because I was so used to doing consultative selling, and I guess they wanted me to pitch them and do all the slickness that some sales do, and I couldn't get it done, and I didn't make it to the final round. But I will say that that was a huge break because that was Donald Trump, and Donald Trump was extremely popular on the East Coast, and I made it to. I actually made it in one of his shows, The Apprentice. You know, the first season. So I think that was my first break in show business. Okay, so I'm extremely proud of that. Um, so moving on. So I got out of the Army in 2012, intelligence officer, and I just U-hauled it over to California, Los Angeles. I took TVI, and then from TVI, I went to a place called New York Film. I'm sorry, from TVI, I started doing background work for Central Casting. So I have a background in acting, extensive background in acting, and as a background actor, and I was doing Central Casting hard. I was going to about doing it 2 or 3 times a week because I was basically unemployed until school started. And it was really taxing because you cannot do background acting more than like once or twice a week. It will kill you. The only thing that keeps you alive is the free food, which is pretty decent. But other than that, it will kill you. And I was doing that, and I was taking courses at TVI. And then I went to New York Film Academy in Barham, right next to Warner Brothers Studio. And from there, I took their 8 week program. It was from like September to about November, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really introduction. I met a lot of cool people, and we did a lot of stuff together, and I really liked it. And then from New York Film Academy, I started taking more acting classes at TVI. I was doing a lot of background work, and then I actually tried to get back into the workforce, try to get into sales, and didn't work out as much. I just started getting real sloppy. And then 2013, I did New York Film Academy again in Barham, which was a 1 year program, which was a great program. They were a little expensive at the time, I'm in bed, it wasn't a cheap school, it definitely wasn't the top tier expensive school, but it was about $35,000 a year, which in 2013 was pretty decent, pretty substantial. And I had a good time there. And then I had actually moved from Canoga Park to Burbank. And I lived right across the street from Warner Brothers, which was pretty noisy at times, but I love the industry, and that's where I kind of lived. Then from Burbank, I actually moved to Glendale, where um, then when I moved to Glendale, I actually went to New York Film Academy for the MFA program. I didn't get my MFA. I'm about two courses off. I still need to take two more courses to get my MFA. But I was having some serious problems, a little bit of problems there. I mean, I was getting sick a lot, and I didn't pass two courses because I was taking a lot of time off from school. But the school was so helpful in helping me deal with my issues and everything. They gave me counseling. They gave me they were volunteered to give me a leave of absence. But I didn't pass two classes. They were a scene study, and I couldn't get my MFA, which was terrible. Um, okay, so that was about 2016, and then about 2015, about 2015, went to school at Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, where I learned the method acting, and that's where Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman, those guys all studied with Lee Strasberg. They're a little older. You don't know who they are, probably some of you, but those were legendary actors, and I learned a technique called the method, and it was a great technique, and I was really proud to be a part of it. And I was actually just there about last week, and I did an audition. I didn't get it. I just found out this week that I didn't get accepted, but uh, it was a really good community to be a part of. And then from Lee Strasberg, I also studied at Ivana Chubbuck. She taught Holly Berry and Brad Pitt. And then education-wise, I finished up at UCLA Extension with the business and management of entertainment certificate, which ended in 2018. So that was pretty much my hardcore education. That was all my conservatory certificate education right there in a bunch. And from there, in 2015, I joined Stage 32, where I started taking online courses, and I've been in Stage 32 ever since. And I'm currently a moderator there. And then in 2017, I joined Roadmap Writers. In about 2020, I joined Virtual Pitch Fest. I'm also part of the International Screenwriters Association. I'm also part of Scriptwriters Network. I'm also part of the Veterans in Media and Entertainment organization here in Hollywood. So that's just about the gist of who I am. And I take screenwriting classes at places like Stage 32, Roadmap Writers, and just about anywhere I can get them. Screenwriting U, I've been with Screenwriting U since 2015. They have great genre classes, so if you want to write sci-fi or something like that, you can always hit those guys up. And currently, I'm living around the downtown area, and I'm moving to downtown from Koreatown, where I used to walk past the Paramount lot a lot, especially when I had potholes during COVID. And that's pretty much my training. So I have an extensive background in acting. I've done a lot of major fellowships in screenwriting. Uh, and I've taken just about all the genre courses that you can take. I like features right now. I'm writing features a little bit more than television. This year, I kind of did a shift. I haven't written television haven't done a new pilot for television in about 6 years, since 2020. So this year, I'm going to try to finish up two, maybe three pilots if I can. I'm currently taking a comedy writing course. So I may, if I can get this drama pilot done by this weekend, I may try to squeak out a comedy pilot and see how that works. Actually, I gotta email that guy. my professor. And so I want to. I really specialize across the board. In TV, I can do 1 hour drama and half-hour comedy, multicam. I haven't written anything single cam. And my drama has been awarded, like I said earlier, from quarterfinals to finalist. And I'm working on 2 drama pilots right now. Uh, on a personal side, I have had my problems with um, different things that have caused me to be a certain way. Like, due to stress and pressure, I was getting sick a lot. And people that were close to me knew that I was getting sick a lot. But right now, I've been able to kind of overcome it. And I've been able to overcome it by seeking help through YouTube, through therapy, um, through doctors, and some of this stuff. And as a result, I'm really connected with a lot of motivational speakers because being sick a lot, I kind of sought help from a lot of different people, from people that were trauma specialists, from people that were dealing with Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Scientology, um, you name it. All any kind of therapy that you can name, I've kind of been around because I was dealing with a lot of personal issues, and that's why I'm able to bring to you guys a lot of information about you know getting out of the darkness, adding value, motivational speeches that you guys may need. Okay. And right now, just to let you know, I mean, I guess you can kind of tell that I'm kind of not an affluent person financially. I'm dirt broke, and I'm looking to sell my first script sometime this year if I can. And I'm not the most eloquent person, but I want to take you guys on this journey. All this Tony the Screenwriter stuff isn't just to kind of, make money off of YouTube, even though I wouldn't mind, but it's really kind of to help you guys out because I know you guys may be in the same situation. And I want to kind of forewarn you of the pitfall that you may encounter so that you don't encounter some of these things, as you're trying to get to that 10-year mark. Okay. And off the bat, every week I'll try to, give you helpful hints. Like my series, my 1 week videos are going to be, 15 or 30 minutes long, and they're going to be more on they're not going to be the motivational stuff. They may be craft stuff, or they may just me be talking to you about certain issues that you may encounter as a screenwriter. Like for me, I had to struggle with alcohol. I had to struggle with poverty. I had to struggle with underemployment. I had to struggle with maybe not relationships as much, but here and there relationships. I had to struggle with friendships. I had to struggle with going to school. I had to struggle with not being good enough. I had to struggle with being overqualified. I had to struggle with being too old, overage at times. I had to struggle with a lot of stuff that you had to struggle with as a screenwriter. And I'm here to kind of guide you and forewarn you. So, guys, subscribe to my channel and subscribe to me across all major platforms. Look for me, Tony the Screenwriter, on YouTube, Substack, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you know it. Also known as Anthony McBride. Subscribe to me, comment, share this video. This is my introduction. So you can guys, if you guys want to know about me, who the heck is this guy and who does he think he is talking to me like this and giving this advice, that's who I am. I'm Tony McBride, also known as Tony the Screenwriter. This is my introduction video. You guys have a great week. Have a great weekend. I'm going to post this up. This is my video for the week. Let me know if you need anything out here.